Welcome, magical ones, to this special presentation of our art show in partnership with Faye Ice, Marianne Keck, and Fairy Stitch Vlog. Thank you for joining us for this very special little episode of our latest artwork by Faye Ice and Marianne Keck. Welcome to Dark Exist. So, some background on my artistic career. I have been trained in college as an art major. I've been doing artwork for over 20 years. I have been published. I have won an award. I have been shown in galleries. And still, I continue to, even though I've moved from different places, I continue to do my work, although it has changed over the years. Before, I was always very concerned with being precise, trying to be as accurate as possible. Nowadays that I'm older and health issues and time issues, it's now become looser. It's now become more expressionistic, and I've definitely held on to the surrealist sense of the work, and I definitely wanted to consider myself an expressionistic surrealist, I guess I would say. And I continue to use my studies in fairyology and my fairy craft magic, which is now starting to seep into my artwork. So, with that little background, this is my first piece I'm presenting this evening. This is No More. And it is a 20 by 30 inch foam board, black foam board, and the work itself is made of yarn. So the entire face is yarn strands, which is now a technique I do a lot for my multimedia work. And I will use yarn strands where I cut pieces of yarn, straighten them out, and then I glue one strand at a time next to each other to create the image. So that is what I did with this, and it is very time consuming. It takes weeks, if not months, to accomplish something doing that technique. Now this took weeks, probably 3 or 4, to get this done. And it is done in black, gray, and white yarn, except for the green penetrating eyes. And of course the foam board came with the black, so it was very easy to get the background done. So this piece is No More. It is available to purchase, but because I have no shipping facilities out where I am, you are welcome to contact me through my social media or my email, which will be in the description box, and you can alert me if you are interested in purchasing this item, this piece, which we would make an arrangement where you would come to my home studio and pick it up in person. This next piece is called Pay Now. It is 16 by 20 inches, multimedia on recycled canvas board. And this piece took several months to get accomplished due to the fact that all the different media that I used for it. So the figure, the background, the side of the bed are all painted in acrylics. The bed top and the bed details here on the corners, these are all fabric swatches, which are also another technique that I use where I cut the fabric up into pieces. So I take a big piece of fabric, cut them up, and then I glue them, the little pieces in, which creates a new fabric motif from the original. Then the sugar skull is an embroidered store-bought patch on a painted piece of poster, so it's supposed to look like artwork. Then the little bills are paper which I've handwritten on, and they are scattered. The corners of the floor, which are supposed to be the rug, is all yarn, which I've used that technique where I used in the previous, where you cut down the strands of yarn and you glue them one by one next to each other to create the motif, to create the look. So this piece obviously is more of a personal one. This one is definitely one that took months to do. And again, this multimedia that I am now doing is pretty much what I enjoy doing these days, so that is a lot of my work, is the multimedia pieces. This piece is available for purchase. It is smaller, so there is a possibility that I could possibly ship it, but I would prefer to make an arrangement with you if you're interested in coming to my home studio and purchasing it in person. This piece is called Feeling the Pressure. This is a 20 by 30 inch foam board multimedia piece. It's mostly acrylics though. It's mostly hand painted in acrylics. So the stained glass window, or at least the motif of the stained glass window, again is all painted. The two figures are hand painted. And the strands of yarn are here, coming from this nucleus in her breast, and then the background is the fabric where I cut it up and hand glue it in pieces to create a new fabric motif. And so that is the entire background at the top and the side. So this piece obviously again is another emotional expressionistic piece that I recently finished. This one did take me a few months to accomplish, and this one is available for purchase, but again, this is one where I would ask that you'd make arrangement with me through my social media or email to come to the home studio to purchase it in person. And again, you may have noticed by now that I don't exactly explain my work to you. I'm not going to do that. I leave it up to you to come up with something. But I know what I meant when I made them, and I will not disclose that. But I am telling you how long it took and what it took to make it. But obviously, I need all of you to look at the work and interpret it in your own way. This piece is called Isolation Spirit, and there's 20 by 30 inches on black foam board, which I have painted the background, which is here, a little bit. Most of it I've left the black foam board come through, and then the rest is yarn. So the black bands are black knitted yarn that I put together and glued on. And then the cathedral, the apple, the figure, is all done with the stranded yarn technique I've described already, where I cut them, straighten them, and then glue them on one by one to create the image. So this piece, obviously, due to all the yarn work, this one took me several months to accomplish. And I have to say I do enjoy how it turned out. It's the dramatic, draw-in look that I wanted, and it expresses the emotion I was going for. This piece is available for sale, but again, because of its size, I would ask that if you're interested in purchasing it, to please contact me, and we will set up an arrangement where you can come here to my home studio and purchase it in person. This art piece is web, and this one is 20 by 30 inches black foam board, acrylic paints only, and it took me actually only a day to complete this work, but it definitely is the expressionistic, scientific look that I wanted. Again, I will not divulge what I was thinking when I created this piece, but originally the idea had started with this planetary nucleus kind of swirl, and then I changed it up by trying to make this webby tree image. So once I figured that out, the artwork took very little time to accomplish, but it still had plenty of what I was thinking and feeling at the time as far as infusing it. So it definitely went easily, it went quickly, and at this time I felt that it just needed the paint. I didn't need to add any other media to it. So this is acrylic paints on foam board. And again, this piece is available for purchase, but in person, so please contact me about making an arrangement to come to the home studio to pick it up. This piece is called Lost Spirit, and it is 14 by 20 inches. It is multimedia on recycled canvas board. So a couple of different media I used for this piece. The whole background is fabric, which again I used that technique where I chop up the actual printed fabric into pieces, then I re-glue them together to create a whole different print. The leaves, the green leaves here, 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 and here are paper, which I hand painted and glued on. The green ballet shoes are acrylic paints, hand painted. The little acorns, which are scattered mostly around this mirror, but there are a couple others, I think, somewhere buried in here. The acorns, again, are cardboard, which I hand painted and glued on. The mirror, this forest mirror, is aluminum foil, which I cut and glued. Then the little sad figure, female figure, childlike figure, she is hand-drawn, cut out on paper, and then glued onto the mirror. So again, this piece is definitely an expressionistic, surrealist work, and this one took a few months, actually, to accomplish this one. This piece is available for purchase as well. It is smaller, so there is a possibility that I could possibly ship it if you were interested in purchasing it. I would prefer to have you come pick it up, make an arrangement, an appointment to come pick it up at home studio, but there is a possibility that I may be able to ship it. But if you're interested in purchasing it, please let me know and we can discuss details. This piece is one that signifies or shows my fairycraft magic is coming through to my artwork now and then, and this one is called Samhain. This one is 16 by 20 inches, multimedia on recycled canvas board. And this one I definitely enjoyed making, although it did take probably about 3 or 4 months to do, because originally the idea changed as I was working on it. Plus, it was a repaint. There had been an old image on there that I decided I wanted to change. So I went ahead and changed it. The only thing is I kept changing it as I worked on it. So that prolonged the process of actually making it. But the background here, this blue water and sky area, horizon line, this is one of the original pieces or parts. Then I painted the clock moon in acrylics. The figure was part of the original, but I changed her, so I repainted her completely in acrylics. So we got the black with the blue highlight hair, green eyes, and I got the soft face. I got the 7-pointed star necklace, and her arm is painted. The fabric on her shirt, that again is that technique where I cut fabric up. In this case, it was very small little pieces, and one by one glue them to create a different look to it. Then the basket of apples is acrylics. The background with the greenery, the green plant creatures, they're all acrylics. The flower patch is acrylics. And the little witch's circle here with the candles and the potion bottles, the cauldron, the wand, and the spell book. Again, this is all acrylics. But this one was more of a fun piece, and this one is definitely surreal, but not as expressionistic, because my emotions were happier in this one. My emotions were more balanced at this point, and I was just enjoying it. Once I finally figured out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, then it started to flow, and I enjoyed it. So this piece is available for sale. It is a little bit too big to ship anywhere, so again, this is another one where you need to make an appointment with me to come and purchase it in person. This piece is called It's an Existence, Not a Life. It's 18 by 24 inches multimedia on recycled canvas board. And this one, again, is more expressionistic for sure, definitely a little bit darker. This one is made with acrylics, pleather fabric, and we have here a little, it is in a fabric wolf, which I cut out. We have some decorative paper here as this bundle of flower or bundle of plant. The rest is painted with acrylics. So we've got the black bird, we have the planet, we've got the sky with the stars. Then the pleather fabric, these black mountain spike horizon line details. The stones are hand painted, the snake, the paper, the bills are in the figure are all acrylics. And this piece is one where I had another image which I painted over, but I kept some of the details. So this hammer-like figure, or this hammer-like creature, The stalk is original, which I kind of touched up, and then I changed the top. The plant here, these long finger-like plant elements, these looks like a claw, which I kept on purpose. I kept some of it. There was more. I painted over some of them, but these are the original, and then I just kind of touched them up a little bit. Otherwise, the rest of it is acrylic paints. This one took me actually probably about 4 months to accomplish. Again, it was one of those where I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to work it, and when I started to work on it, then I changed my mind as to what I was going to do. So that was part of the delay. The other part was that it was a hard one to channel my emotions and to make it something that was relevant, something that would be captivating, but not, not overwhelm or underwhelm. I needed to walk that balance, walk that tightrope. And so after months of working on it, it was kind of a burnout. So it made it harder for me to finish it. But I'm glad I did, and it is finished. And again, it is available for purchase, but it's one of those where I would request that you make an appointment with me to come and purchase it at my home studio in person. This is the midnight hour is close at hand. It's 18 by 24 inches acrylics on stretched canvas. And again, this one is one of my fairyology starting to come through. So this dark fairy rendition against this very emotional, expressionistic background, again, was one that took me a while, especially when it was repainted. I had painted an original image and changed it, took out some of it, and repainted the entire thing. So again, this one became more of an emotional piece rather than just being a regular fairy art piece. So we have the fairy figure here against this claw-like, hand-like tree. And then you've got the background. And then there is an image here, which could be a figure kind of looming through her iridescent wing. This one took, because of the delays, obviously this one took, well, over the full course, it probably took like a couple of months. Like I said, I had originally painted a different image and then sat back, watched it, and looked at it for a few weeks and then decided that wasn't going to work. And so I went ahead and just painted over it. Again, this piece is available for purchase, but this is one of those where I would request that you make an appointment with me to come to the home studio to purchase it. This next piece is called Hung Out. It's 20 by 30 inches black foam board, multimedia. And this one has a little bit of history due to the fact that I made this piece probably about 11 years ago originally. This is not that original piece. This is a remake. The original piece was pretty much the same image, except there was no background. It was just a black board, but it was much bigger. It was one of those trifold foam display bulletin board kind of things where you open it up like a triptych. At the time, I had bought one of those, and instead of opening like a triptych like this, I turned it, and so it was open this way, and I managed to cut some wood framing from another big canvas, and I glued it on the back so that the whole board would stay open and stay permanent. Then I drew this image in charcoals, black, white, gray, pastels and charcoals, and then sprayed it with a fixative. Unfortunately, after about a few months or maybe even half a year, I noticed that if I picked it up or accidentally touched it, the image, excuse me, the image was still coming off. The fixative, for some reason, was not binding to the foam board. So that was a lesson learned. And it ended up becoming a real mess, which I just had to trash. I had to break it up and throw it out, which upset me because that had taken quite a long time to engineer and to create. But I always kept the image on my computer so I could remember I had done the work, which I often do. I keep a visual record of what I was doing. So I went ahead and I had kept the picture, thankfully. And it was only until this year, or last year I should say, that 2024, that I went ahead and decided I wanted the image again, but it's a lot smaller, being that it's a 20 by 30 inch instead. I didn't recreate it on the big board. I just used the smaller one. So the image is the same, although this is painted. So the image itself is acrylic paints, black, white, and grays. And then the background, I went ahead and used my fabric technique that I've been mentioning in previous throughout the show. Is I used the black pleather fabric, cut it up into squares, and then glue them on, and then I went over them with gray paint to make all the seams. So all these little lines, these little seams that you were seeing, these are all painted over the pleather, where they meet up, where the squares meet up. And I purposely did that, of course, so I could make it look like there was black tile behind this obviously in trouble, tortured figure. So she is wearing a belt with a padlock. She is being hung by these metallic-like clamps, and she is struggling to hang on. And we've got the ball and chain on the other side. So she's definitely captive. And this piece, again, is a homage to my black and white work, which I have been known for. I do enjoy doing work just in the neutrals. And so this is, again, reminiscent of that. And again, this piece is available for sale, but again, because of its size, this is one where I would very much prefer that you would arrange with me to come to the home studio and purchase it in person. This final piece of the show is titled End of a Fairy Tale. It's 18 by 24 inches, acrylics on stretched canvas. And this one is one that I had originally made, probably a couple years before. And it never looked right. It was the figure, and it was supposed to be kind of Picasso-like, which was the first time I think I'd ever even tried his style. And I didn't like it, and I decided I wanted to either change it, but I didn't want to scrap the canvas. I can't afford to just throw away materials, so I wanted to do something different. So I went ahead, and it was years. I mean, I had originally painted this, I forget which year it was, but I repainted this in 2023 to the image you're now looking at. So after thinking about it for a while and looking at it and trying to decide what did I want to do, I went ahead and I finally got some imagery in my head, and I think I saw something, I forget what, and it inspired me. So I made her into a fairy, and then I went ahead and just added elements and made it much more emotional, much more expressionist, and you can definitely say it's surreal. So I have words written in, and I have different images, I have different, it's telling a story, it's telling a narrative, very brief narrative, but it is in here. And of course, I think I was definitely channeling Jean-Michel Basquiat as well, simply because he liked to do images where he would write in the word and then cross them out. And that appealed to me for this piece, to add to the raw emotion. So I can say definitely that is something that inspired me, was from him. And the rest of it, I think I just came up with on my own as I started working on it. So this one is definitely an emotional piece for me, and I won't go into the details of it. As I've said, I will not explain my work. It is up to you to decide how you want to interpret it. But again, this piece is available for purchase. Again, it's one of those, due to its size, that we would need to make an arrangement where you could come and pick it up in person. So please feel free to do that if you wish to. So that concludes our art show of Dark Exist. Again, I thank you so much for tuning in and for observing my work. Please respect copyright under Faye Ice and Marianne Keck for 2025. And I thank you so much. Again, if you are interested in purchasing any of these works, then please let me know through my social media or the Faye Ice art page on Facebook, or you can contact me through the email. Both are in the description box below. I thank you so very much, and you are welcome to check out my Ko-fi.com page, which is also in the description box, where some of my other works and the dolls, the quilts, the classes are all also available. So please check those out. I would appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you. And I thank you so much for joining me and walking through my emotional state over the years through this show. Thank you so very much. Have a very good day.